Okay, we are now live on YouTube. Hello and welcome everyone. We are very happy to have you here today in the launching of the new Aflatoun Manual for Cooperatives, Coop-Youth as Changemakers, Manual for Financial Literacy for Youth. To open the session today, we have Roeland Monasch. He is the CEO of Aflatoun. Aflatoun International delivers social and financial education through a network of over 350 partner organizations. Our mission is to inspire children and young people to socially and economically empower themselves to become agents of change for a more equitable future. Roeland, you have the floor now. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Diana. Good afternoon and good morning from Amsterdam. It's a real honor to be with you today. It's good to see such a high level of participation, and I'm really thrilled to be able to speak with you. Colleagues and friends, over the past year, COVID-19 has been reminding us, unfortunately, day after day, the importance of resiliency, being able to adapt to shocks, to cope with the unexpected. It has been highlighting and reminding us the importance that every young person should build and should learn at early age the habits of saving and financial responsibility. And as they do so, also enhance their self-confidence, leadership abilities, and entrepreneurial skills and attitudes. And that is what the Aflatoun program does. And that is what NATCCO and your local cooperative movement has been doing so successfully in the Philippines over the last years. Today is a happy day for people who are working on financial literacy, with the launch of this important manual for cooperatives written by NATCCO. It has been very impressive to see how you have created a movement of organizations in the Philippines that ensure that children learn the habits of saving in a fun way and ensuring that they will successfully transition from childhood to adulthood and transition from school to work life. It's really impressive and fantastic. The document we are launching today shows also how cooperatives play a key role in effective, efficient, and sustainable rollout of life skills and financial education for children. I was fortunate to already have a sneak peek and read the document. It is an excellent manual, and I just want to highlight 2 points. My colleagues and friends will go into much more detail, but first of all, it shows and reminds us that children, especially the poor, if they are given the education and the opportunity, can save and can break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. Very important coming out of this document. Secondly, is the success story of NATCCO is a success story of all stakeholders. It's a partnership, it's doing it together. The Department of Education, the Central Bank, the cooperatives, the parents and the children. And this book shows how you can do this by working together. It's an excellent tool, step by step, how to contextualize and roll out Aflatoun. I want to congratulate, as I close, NATCCO and its affiliate cooperatives on your implementation and your fantastic scale-up of the Aflatoun program. You have been and continue to be an example to the entire Aflatoun movement around the world. It's good to see also that our friends from the Department of Education and the Central Bank are with us today. Your leadership and your commitment is extremely important, and we're looking forward to continue to work with you. And it's also good to see the International Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Balu, Iyer and team. We look forward to work with you in other Asian countries and beyond. Let me close with congratulating NATCCO again, Sylvia and team, fabulous job. And finally, a big thank you and congratulations, of course, to Lasalette Gumban. Fantastic. Thank you so much for making this document available to everyone. I can assure you, we'll all use it very eagerly. Thank you so much and an excellent meeting. I wish you all.
Thank you, Roeland. And following up, we have Balu Iyer. He is the Regional Director for the International Cooperative Alliance, Asia and Pacific. The ICA is the apex organization for cooperatives worldwide that advances the cooperative social enterprise model and provides a global voice and forum for cooperatives. Before he joined the ICA, he worked with different organizations such as the Asia Foundation, the International Development Exchange, Action Aid India, and Aga Khan Rural Support Program. Balu, thank you for being with us, and you have the spotlight now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Diana, and hi, Roland. Nice to see you again, even though it's virtually. And good afternoon to everyone from India. I am delighted to join the launch of the Aflatoun for Cooperatives, Coop-Youth as Change Makers, the manual for financial literacy for youth. Let me begin by congratulating the National Confederation of Cooperatives, or NATCCO, Aflatoun International, the Department of Education, the Central Bank, partners, and of course, the young people who are involved in this program. I have met many, I call them Aflatouners, but I don't know what name you all have, during my visit to the Philippines, and seen them on stage delivering speeches, performing in cultural events, talking with pride about their savings, and more importantly for me, promoting cooperatives. So the success of the Aflatoun program was very evident to me by seeing these young people, their personality, the confidence with which they spoke and engaged, their character and their security. So the Aflatoun program then addresses two issues, is what I could draw from after meeting these young people. One, it's trying to get young people from a very young age and improving financial literacy. And the need post-pandemic, as Ronan mentioned, for both these is acute. The ILO came out with a report, Youth and COVID-19, Impact on Jobs, Education, Rights, and Mental Well-being, highlighting and it highlights the following. It says that the impact of the pandemic on young people is systematic, deep, and disproportionate. It has been particularly hard on young women, younger youth, and youth in lower income countries. Young people are concerned about their future and their place in it as education has been affected. Access, transition, delay, continuity, you name it. And for workers, it has destroyed their employment and undermined their career prospects, the layoffs, the reduction, the income loss. And as a consequence, it has also impacted the health and material well-being, leading to more anxiety, depression, etc. But what the report also points out is that young people are determined to step up and partner safely and effectively with governments, social partners, civil society, and other institutions to build back better. The need is for integration between mental well-being, education success, labor market integration, and financial security. And on the last, financial security, let me also, and this is something which we can do, a quick Google search will show up that there is an urgent need to make young people, especially the millennials, financially literate. And to quote just one of the headlines, it says only 24% of millennials are financially literate. And this is just literate, not on the savings and other aspects. And this figure is in the US, but it could well be relevant to any other part of the world. Usually in my speeches, I mention about youth empowerment to cooperatives to build a better world. But going forward, I think I should add the word financial and advocate for financial empowerment of youth through cooperatives. Financial becomes important because that's the bedrock of security, stability, and strength. Youth, as we are going to be discussing today, play a critical role just by the sheer numbers in the region. And in any part of the, which we can think about, politics, economics, society, technology, the youth are going to be playing more and more important role. We're also talking about empowerment, giving freedom of choice and action. And this is what the program also delivers, that it gives one control and authority over resources and decisions that affect their life. And cooperatives, for us, cooperatives with their values and principles, which have openness, democracy, ownership, concern for the community, they resonate with youth, what youth want. So in that sense, the NATCCO Aflatoun program perfectly captures all the 4 dimensions of financial, youth, empowerment, and cooperative. And it has come a long way since its start in 2006. And the manual, which I've also had the opportunity to see, showcases the success through case studies and numbers. More than 1,743 schools, 8,200 plus teachers, 500,000 Aflatooners, and the small but consistent savings of close to 278 million Philippine pesos. And I'm sure my numbers are dated, but then what it shows is these numbers are only growing. And to further make the case for the program, the Department of Education has taken on the integration of social and financial education in the national education curriculum. So in the manual, I found it apt to read the lines. A person can learn about cooperatives easily by just classroom lectures, but one has to live cooperatives by becoming a member so that he or she will learn, love, and appreciate the cooperative ideal, philosophy, and principles. And so this manual again captures in depth the steps required to see how the young not only learn, and it's not just the young, but it's also cooperatives themselves need to learn. So how they learn, how the parents learn, how the teachers learn, and in the process, they are experiencing it on their own. So I think on this dimension too, the Aflatoun program and the manual very well captures it. And it's very clear the manual takes, and I'm sure the others coming next will be talking more in detail about the program, but it has steps for implementation that we need to go through. And what I found interesting with the program also, it's not just a cut and dry program, but one which we can contextualize. And I think a couple of months back, we had a program of the Aflatoun program where members from many countries came together to learn what this program is about and to see if they can adapt it in their country. So this program can be contextualized. It can fit with local culture, and it also encourages adoption of mother tongue based education. So I think it's something which we can use in any context and also adapt it to the language which we think can be used. And the manual also looks at how resources can be raised. So there's no excuse for someone to say that, oh, we want to do this, but we don't have the resources. So the manual also lays out how resources can be raised. And I was very impressed to see that it also looks at the principles which the Child and Youth Financial International developed, the 8 child and youth banking principles. And finally, I think what I was most particularly impressed is the link between the local and the global. A small local cooperative working with young people can contribute to the global efforts to achieve the sustainable development goals. And again, these SDGs, not just one SDG, but 4 of them. SDG 1, it can address poverty issues. SDG 4, on quality education. SDG 8, decent work and employment. And SDG 10, reduced inequality. So this is, for me, a very, very comprehensive program, which helps not only the young, focuses on the young, and helps them to ensure they are financially literate and financially secure, which is so, so important in the world that we are in. Let me quote the ICA president, Ariel Guarco. Earlier this year, we had the Global Youth Forum for young people. And in that he said, young people are not the future of the movement. They must be the present, because the urgent problems of today mean the future of our movement and our civilization is at stake. This is precisely what the Aflatoun NATCCO program does, work with the present to build the future. So my congratulations to the entire team involved in bringing out the manual, Coop-Youth as Change Makers, Manual for Financial Literacy for Youth. And I highly encourage people who are interested in the program to come on board and see how we can expand, scale, and promote this program as widely as possible. Again, thank you very much for inviting me. and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Balu. We really appreciate your very thoughtful insight and the participation of ICA today in this session. Last but not least, to open up the session, we have the main writer of the Coop-Youth as Changemakers Manual for Financial Literacy for Youth, Lasalette Gumban. She is a key person behind the Aflatoun movement in NATCCO. She was the head of the youth unit in NATCCO, and she is also a global Aflatoun master trainer. She has been with Aflatoun program since more than 10 years ago. Lasalette, welcome and thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon, everyone, to all our Aflatoun partners in the Philippines, in Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Europe. Podem Morhen, Shub Prabhat, good afternoon, magandang hapon. Warm greetings from Quezon City in the Philippines. And this afternoon, I am honored and joyful to share with you how this manual came about. It took 2 years for this manual to be finally printed. And, it's a challenge to write a 500-word essay, how much more a book. In the words of the novelist Jack Kerouac, how to even begin to get it all down and without modified restraints and all hung up on like literary inhibitions and grammatical fears. The original plan was for this book to be offered to the Philippine co-op partners, but an idea was suggested by the ICAAP through Santosh, one of the officers back then, 2 years ago, to bring in the ICAAP so that more cooperatives in Asia and the Pacific can also benefit from it. And the ICAAP, through the leadership of Balu, gladly abided. So it was supposed to be launched in the General Assembly of NATCCO in 2019, but it was also the same year that I moved into a new program of NATCCO for the Filipino diaspora, that the writing process was put on hold. Then the next plan was to launch it in the 2020 General Assembly of NATCCO last April, but then COVID happened and the GA was canceled. So before the lockdown, the book was 80% complete. And the quarantine really provided an opportunity to really give it a focus it rightfully deserved. When it was finally finished, I sort of reflected the journey of this book and how it will be shared to more partners. So while we are physically restricted, paradoxically, we've become more borderless and the window of opportunity opened. I presented the idea to the Aflatoun International through Lucky early April of this year, and the team headed by our CEO, Roeland, did not hesitate to support it and plan to have it launched globally. Hence, the launching today. As Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots looking backward. Now we know the reason why the 2019 launching didn't happen, nor the launching for the NATCCO GA early this year. Something more special was bound to happen. And this is also the beauty of being a part of the global network. We have this global platform to share, to interact, and collaborate. So for this presentation, we will together explore the process of writing the manual, how it came about, and also the contents, what should be included, how it can be useful for the cooperative partners and even our NGO partners, and also way forward. I was just tasked to gather the stories and present it in an organized form, but really this manual reflects the commitment, the creativity, courage, talent, and the spirit of volunteerism of the cooperative partners, schools, teachers, and children. So why it came about? The Aflatoun has been the flagship program of NATCCO for the children and youth for more than a decade already. And we would like to believe that it has achieved some level of stature and credibility across the country, not only in the cooperative sector, but in the education sector as well. We felt the need to honor the organizations and and people who made it happen, to celebrate our small victories, because this will also serve as our driving force and inspiration to keep on improving and evolving. Secondly, there is so much to learn from the experiences and stories of the partners. And what better way to capture all this than a book that can be shared, discussed, and improved on by the different stakeholders. When the program started more than a decade ago, we only have few partners. Today, we have expanded to more countries in Asia and globally. We have come a long way from the original 10 country partners to 108 countries with diverse background, but share the same values and goals for an inclusive and holistic children and youth development. We hope that the manual will also serve as a guide for current and future partners to have a more smooth implementation. When we started the program, our principle is to learn the ropes while doing it, which is also very Aflatoun. We don't have the guide or the critical success factors yet that will show us the way. We hope that through this manual, you will be more equipped to avoid as much as you can the pitfalls, so that you can tread with courage and creativity for your Aflatoun journey. To sum it up, allow me to repeat what I have written in the introduction. In the extremely diversified and very competitive world in which cooperatives and cooperators have to operate and serve, we should highlight the cooperative principles and values and the co-op spirit that have carried the co-op movement through the years. We should give focus on what co-ops can do and must do. This publication seeks to help do those tasks. And for the contents, what's inside the manual? First, of course, is the history. Here we have traced the colorful history of the program from the time our former CEO, Presidente Paez, was invited by Giroux in Amsterdam in 2015, and how it was adapted and replicated by NATCCO and the cooperative partners. This chapter is also our way of thanking the efforts of our past and present leaders who supported the program, to the cooperatives who first piloted it, and the international and local funders who supported us in our infancy stage until its growing up years. Then we also have the overview of the Aflatoun program. In this chapter, we have explored the implementation process and how partners can make each step successful in order to achieve sustainability and greater impact. We have presented the 6 steps of implementation as guide for new partners in charting a sustainable path, and for older partners to thoughtfully review their implementation. Also, the 8 child and youth banking principles developed by the Child and Youth Finance International that aims at facilitating an international benchmark for safe and reliable banking products for children and youth, as well as building awareness among financial institutions of how to contribute to the empowerment and protection of children and youth. We also emphasize the 2 components of the program, social and financial, and how the program is not complete without the other component. Next would be the Aflatoun and the Sustainable Development Goals. Aflatoun and the SDGs, and in this chapter, we have highlighted the role of the co-ops and children's organizations in the achievement of the SDGs. It is also noteworthy to say that our goals are anchored on these global goals. Here we focus on the 4 goals, but we can also see how the program responds to the other goals. We believe that growth of the program can only be sustainable if it is inclusive and environmentally sound. Everything is connected and interrelated. Then we also feature the success factors of the program. Aflatoun success is a product of consistent, competent, committed, and agile alignment of efforts among the various stakeholders. Taking stock of both the evaluation results made by our partners in the academe and the experience of working with partner co-ops in the Aflatoun, we present the success factors of the Aflatoun program in the Philippines, which can also be a source of learning from the other partners across the world. Then we have stories of the Aflatoun partners across the country. In this chapter, we have presented the cooperative model of implementation, which is also one of the most unique models in the Aflatoun network. NATCCO's strong partnership with co-ops that implement the Aflatoun allows the program to effectively expand and scale up. We have featured 3 partners: Lamak Multipurpose Cooperative for Visayas, Tagum Cooperative for Mindanao, and Sacred Heart Savings Cooperative for Luzon. We also have the Aflatoun and the Laboratory Cooperative. In this chapter, we highlight the importance of co-ops to organize their laboratory cooperatives, and that Aflatoun is one of the programs under it. Aflatoun and laboratory cooperatives are one and the same. We have also included a guide for co-ops in organizing their laboratory cooperatives. And although the laws of co-ops vary in each country or in other parts of the world, the principles and values remain the same. And these are the same foundation of how the lab co-ops should be organized, monitored, and sustained. Another important chapter is the engagement of cooperatives with youth in ASEAN. This is the ICAAP study on youth in Southeast Asia, which provides us an overview of the status of the youth in the region. For the other Asian countries who plan to implement the program, this chapter would be helpful also in gleaning the Coop-Youth engagements and how the Aflatoun program can be integrated in its structure to make it more holistic. ICAAP also shared the activities of the Committee on Youth Cooperation in facilitating a better cooperation among youth. So we have here stories from Indonesia, Myanmar, Malaysia, of course, Singapore, Thailand, we have Vietnam, and also the Philippines. And the next chapter was written by the Aflatoun International, the latest addition to the book. The NATCCO scale-up model and strategy were highlighted, which are presented in 3 stages: the startup, the scale-up, and the growth. And we have also included some helpful tools for our partners as annexes: the job description of the Aflatoun coordinator, because we believe that those who are working with the program should have a guide on what kind of work they need to do in terms of the day-to-day functions, as well as the visioning for the program. We also have the Aflatoun program assessment tool to check the health and wellness of the program. We also have the monthly report for partners and the Aflatoun Laboratory Cooperative Manual. So how can it be a useful tool? So we have included real-life stories of implementers. We have also tools that can be used and modified to fit the local cultures and realities. And we have also suggested standards for quality assurance. And hopefully, it can be a source of inspiration for both old and new partners. Way forward, the program has already entered its 2nd decade, and it's exciting to see what lies ahead. These are challenging times, but we are also given the opportunities to rise above and maximize the strengths of the program. Now we see that expansion can happen without us leaving our offices, our provinces, or countries. The presence of ICA here presents a well of opportunities for the network. The NATCCO experience through our children and youth team, they can be our allies in this new phase of growth. In this brave new world we live in, life skills like creativity, self-reliance, confidence, collaborative ingenuity are helpful to thrive. And these are the same skills that we teach in our program. This is our opportunity to show how the program can make young people prepare and become more proactive. Our program is relevant more than ever. Moving forward, we also need to highlight the flexibility of the program by making it more attuned to the present times. We could not expect for the old times to be reestablished or use the methods we used back in the days. But we can do some creative, well thought out maneuvering and find new ways of doing things. For our co-op partners, if face-to-face teachers trainings are not possible anymore, how can we bring Aflatoun to the digital space? If if physical savings at school is not possible, can we develop a system wherein children can still save, which is also an important habit to develop in building our financial resilience? We have proven that physical restrictions can be transcended because genuine interaction is still possible for an organization that truly cares. Our partners, our teachers, and schools need us now more than ever, especially that many of them are still adjusting to the hybrid learning. We hope that we can make our presence felt by our partners and contribute meaningfully to their success. Our partners, our teachers, they are our allies. Finally, we hope that soon we can further build and develop the contents of this manual and spawn the version 2. We are continuously evolving and improving, and we hope that our efforts will bear fruits in the lives of the children as we work together to build a better world for them. Thank you so much, everyone, and good morning and good afternoon.
Thank you, Lasalette. I think I'm pretty sure everyone is really looking forward to read the manual after your presentation. I am going to very quickly show a video for everyone. Just a sec, not sure what's happening. Here it goes again, just a second. Okay, next up we have Lumingkewas, the program manager for Aflatoun International in the Asia region. Lucky, you have the microphone now.
Thank you so much, Diana. Good morning from Amsterdam and good afternoon for our partners in Asia. I'm your moderator today for the next session of webinar. So we combine our launching event with webinar. And fortunately, we already have very competent 3 speakers to explore and to guide us through the importance of life skill and financial education for children and young people. We just learned from Lasalette presentation on the summary of the manual. It was great, Lasalette. Thank you so much for that. And it was clear and provide great guidance for any cooperative and any different organization on how to implement life skill and financial education into their regular program and collaborate the program with a local education office to be implemented in public school. We just saw also the short video of how Agum Cooperative, one of the pilot cooperative in the manual on how they implement the program. Very nice video. We have 3 videos from from 2 different cooperative, but unfortunately due to time constraint, we just play 1 video from Tagum Cooperative. I will share my screen now to share the session objective. So we have 3 session objectives. One is to explain why it is important for cooperative movement to introduce life skill and financial education for children and young people. 2, to understand the life skill and financial education as an important part of the financial inclusion roadmap strategy in Philippines. And the 3rd objective is to learn how the life skill and financial education has been implementing in one cooperative that successfully integrating Aflatoun curriculum into their regular program. And to discuss on the 3 session objective, we have 3 speakers. The first speaker is Sylvia of Paraguya. She is the CEO of the National Confederation of Cooperative, or NATCCO, a federation of 845 cooperatives with consolidated asset of $5.7 billion US, owned by 5.8 million individual members. Sylvia also active in various organizations in Philippines and around the world. She was the chair of Proxin, an association of organizations assisted by Development International Desjardins. She has chaired Code NGO, the biggest coalition of NGO network in the Philippines, National Cooperative Development Council, and Philippine Cooperative Center. She is the current chair of Network Consolidated Cooperative Bank and Balai Mindanao Foundation Inc. Sylvia is a chemical engineer and holds a master in business management of Asian Institute of Management, Makati City. Sylvia will speak on the important topic, which is why cooperative movement need life skill and financial education for children and young people. The second speaker is Rochelle de Tomas. She is the officer in charge of the Financial Inclusion Group, Center for Learning and Inclusion Advocacy, or CLIA, Banco Central Filipinas, or Central Bank of Philippines. She was formerly Deputy Director of CLIA Consumer Empowerment Group, leading the implementation of BSP Financial Education Program and Partnership. She graduated cum laude, Bachelor of Art in Philosophy from the University of Philippines, completed a postgraduate degree in Policy Studies at Auckland University of Technology, New Zealand, and is a fellow of Fletcher Leadership Program for Financial Inclusion at the Fletcher School, Tufts University, Boston, USA. Rochelle will speak on the life skill and financial education for children and young people as important part of the roadmap of financial inclusion strategy in Philippines. And the third speaker is Dr. Edward J. Amaguis. He is Division Chief of Department of Education Davao del Norte and Chairperson Board of Director of Tagum Cooperative. Edward also active in many different organizations. He is the President of Association of Regional Chief in Region 11 and President of Davao del Norte Association of Education Program Supervisor. He has master's degree in mathematics and holds a Doctor of Education degree from Southwestern University. Edward will speak on collaboration between cooperative and local education office in introducing life skill and financial education for children, learning from Tagum Co-op. So without further ado, I'll give Sylvia 15 minutes to start her presentation.
Thank you very much, Lucky. I hope you can hear me from your side. Right now, I'm here in our farm, and before this presentation, it rained very hard. So I had to chat with Hazel to be ready just in case I'll be out of circulation. Hopefully not. First, I'd like to thank Aflatoun International for supporting this activity, for our initiative to come up with the Aflatoun manual. We'd like to thank Roeland Monasch for his presence in this launching. We'd also like to thank Balu Iyer for his very good presentation. In fact, I think the question why cooperative movement needs life skills and financial education for children and young people have already been answered. So thank you, Balu, for making my life easy. Thank you also for the very good review of the Aflatoun manual. We'd also like to thank Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Ms. Rochelle, for being here today. We have been part of the financial inclusion advocacy of the Bangko Sentral. I remembered when we launched it in the Philippines, I was asked to be one of the speakers in behalf of the cooperative sector. So thank you very much, Rochelle, for gracing the launching of this manual. We'd also like to thank the Department of Education for this partnership, because that is really one of the reasons why we're able to upscale the Aflatoun implementation in the Philippines. And you know, I am very teary-eyed. I become sentimental listening to all of you, and especially to Lasalette for the writing of the manual. Maybe I'd like to introduce Salette some more, because I am a very proud CEO for having a very brilliant staff like Lasalette Gumban. Lasalette Gumban is a true blue cooperator. She started understanding and practicing cooperatives as early as her high school, because there was cooperative education in the school where she had her high school. And she is really responsible for where Aflatoun is right now, steering the implementation of Aflatoun, and mostly with very low supervision from all of us. Today, Lasalette has moved on to handle our diaspora program, and she's the most international person among all the staff of NATCCO, because our diaspora program is also still about life skills and financial education for overseas Filipinos and their families. I hope you can still hear me, because right now it's already raining very hard here in my place. So congratulations, Lasalette. We're very proud of you, and I'm a very happy CEO for having you and the team headed by Ms. Bingkabal. The first slide is just about the reason why we need life skills and financial education. And the second slide shows to us that we are a very young country. We have a very young population in the Philippines. Imagine our median age is 24 years, and 31.9% of the population is having ages 15 years and below. So I think as a cooperative movement, we need to make sure that the children and the youth are really with us right from the start. Next slide. The next slide will just show us how NATCCO has institutionalized Aflatoun, how NATCCO has institutionalized children and youth, not just as a program, but even in governance. So here you will see the picture of the Children and Youth Committee. They come from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, 2 from each island. And every 2 years, we would have a youth congress to select the youth sector representative in the board. So in the middle is the young Rona, who now sits in the board of NATCCO, and there he represents the children and the youth. Every General Assembly, she would also report the resolutions from children and the youth. At the NATCCO's organizational structure would also be a unit just for children and youth, and we really have a budget to make sure that the initiatives of children and youth are adequately supported. Next slide, please. So here, we want to teach the children and youth the values of business skills, and we start them early. So these are pictures on what they're doing in the school and even sometimes in the cooperatives. Next slide. The next slide will also be just examples of the many livelihood trainings that the children and youth receive and how they're able to practice entrepreneurial skills. Next slide. So we have here, and this was adequately mentioned also by Balu, that there is really a match between the cooperative principles and values and the Aflatoun financial and social education. So here in the cooperatives, we have those values, we have those principles, and we have the values of self-help and mutual help. And these are the same principles which are being applied when we do the Aflatoun implementation. The next slide. This is just about the how the Aflatoun prepares the children and youth to become the members of the mother cooperative. So in the Philippines, as already mentioned, we have laboratory co-ops which are organized. And in these laboratory co-ops, you have seen in the presentation of Tagum Cooperative that they practice their leadership, and we have also the same committees typical of the mother cooperative. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we are very excited, and we would be happy to see how this Aflatoun manual will be used by cooperatives around the world. And we would like to thank our partners, and we really look forward to more implementation of the Aflatoun and the children and youth programs across Asia and the world and across cooperatives. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy that I'm able to finish this presentation. And we would like to see how we can cooperate some more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. That was an excellent presentation, very inspiring, all of us. I hope participants in the YouTube channel can drop any comment, feedback, question. If we still have time, of course, definitely we will try to respond to your message and comments. Actually, Sylvia, you spend half of your time, so but it's good, it's great. Then we have more time for other possible question and answer. The second speaker is Rochelle. She is the central bank person. She will guide us through on the other important topic on how this manual can fill the roadmap of financial inclusion strategy in the Philippines. Rochelle, you have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Lucky. Thank you, Ms. Sylvia, for sharing what NATCCO does. I'd like to thank Aflatoun International, of course, NATCCO and ICAP for this opportunity to also share what the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas does in financial education and financial inclusion. So allow me to share my screen. so that we can move forward with the presentation. So Ms. Sylvia mentioned that NATCCO was representing the cooperative sector during the launch of the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion. Indeed, we consider the cooperative sector as a key financial service provider because of their nature as a cooperative, as well as their presence in rural areas where most of our banks cannot reach. And so their role in financial inclusion is really very important as financial service providers in the last mile. Now, we're also quite happy to be one of the key partners in financial education. We know of Aflatoun's partnership with NATCCO for ages since it began. And so we're quite happy to see that we already have a manual of that kind of partnership so that it can also be replicated within the Philippines as well as outside the Philippines. So allow me now to give you an overview of the mandate of the Central Bank of the Philippines, just to contextualize why we are quite heavily invested in financial education programs. So very recently, our charter was amended to redefine our mandate and really focus on really promoting broad and convenient access to high quality financial services and consider the interest of the general public. So this is now embedded in our mandate, and we have already also included as strategic objectives what we call 3 advocacies: financial inclusion, financial education, and consumer protection. Our stakeholder outcome is really to empower the citizenry regardless of age and regardless of socio-economic status. We define inclusive financial system as a state wherein there is informed and effective use by all Filipinos of accessible, affordable, and suitable financial services delivered by responsible and responsive financial institutions. Now, this definition presupposes, again, a financially literate public and empowered public, a public that knows their rights and responsibilities as financial consumers. The challenge is really great in the Philippines in terms of financial literacy. In the recent survey conducted by the central bank in 2019, we found that only 55% of Filipino adults know the effect of inflation on the purchasing power of households. And only a third correctly answered questions on simple and compounding interest rates. Now, these are basic concepts that are necessary for a person or individual to make informed financial decisions in terms of saving, borrowing, making investments. And if such levels of literacy are not addressed and are not enhanced, then we might have a very big problem on our hands. And we also note that financial literacy has implications on the levels of financial inclusion. If we want to onboard, generally unbanked sectors, which are also generally not sophisticated and not very knowledgeable about financial services, then we might be putting them at risk in terms of their inability to make such financial services advantageous for their own benefit. And we are seeing, based on our data on the Financial Inclusion Survey, that financial literacy may have an impact on financial inclusion. As of the 2019 data, we found that 71% of Filipino adults still do not have an account with formal financial institutions. 47% still do not save, either formally or informally. Of those who save, most of their savings are in the informal sector. So they keep their savings at home. In terms of borrowing, while there was some increase, we also found that most of those who borrow from informal services. And the implications of that from a financial inclusion and consumer protection perspective is that if they are borrowing from informal sources, there is higher tendency for unscrupulous practices, for them to be victimized by unscrupulous practices, and might compromise their financial well-being. And so really our theory of change in terms of why the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is very focused on financial literacy is that we think that it is one of the key pillars that will support economic and financial well-being of individuals and households, and then the economy as a whole. So what you have here on this slide is really our theory of change. If NATCCO and Aflatoun is a manual of change for Coop-Youth, then this is our theory of change, because of course we always say knowledge is power, and we think that a well-informed and a financially literate population will redound to a better decision-making public, and hopefully they will have better savings, they can build their assets, and they can make wise use of credit to benefit themselves and eventually contribute more productively to the Philippine economy. Now, we know that financial education, financial inclusion, even consumer protection is really not just the central bank's mandate. This is a mandate and a responsibility of so many sectors of the economy. And we are quite happy that Aflatoun and NATCCO has this long-standing partnership to promote financial education in the Philippines. I'm sure many of you know that the Central Bank of the Philippines has been doing financial education programs since 2010. We used to do financial education sessions on our own, and we go through all the provinces in the Philippines and conduct financial education sessions. However, in 2018, we had to redefine our strategy and focus more on areas where we can add more value. And so we shifted our approach towards institutional partnerships. We had to identify key target audiences and institutional partners. We are now collaborating and capacitating many of our partners, and we plan to monitor and measure our progress. Our shared objective is really to establish a financially literate, financially healthy citizenry. So our partnership is anchored on several principles. Of course, we want to have shared objectives and shared responsibilities. We want to add value to existing initiatives like Aflatoun and NATCCO partnership. We want our programs to be sustainable and scalable with huge multiplier effects. We also have clear terms of reference and performance indicators. And most importantly, we want to avoid conflicts of interest and commercialization. As a regulator of the financial system, this is a key area where we really want the partnerships on financial education to be product agnostic and provider agnostic. So this is our partnership framework for financial education. This is very supportive of the national strategy of for financial inclusion. As you can see here in our financial inclusion house, financial education and consumer protection is a key pillar that will help support our financial inclusion objectives. I'm happy to report that as of today, we have 20 agencies that are participating in the Financial Inclusion Steering Committee, and each one of these agencies have their own financial inclusion and financial education programs to some extent. A key partner in the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion and our financial education programs is the Department of Education. And let me move on to my next slide. You will see here many of our partners. This is really a snapshot of the various partnerships that we have with both public sector and private sector institutions. So DepEd, you can see at the left side, I guess right side of the left side of the BSP logo at the topmost. And the figures around this circle show you the potential outreach of our financial education partnerships. So we're not just targeting learners, but we're also targeting teachers in our financial education programs. We have programs for our overseas Filipino workers, for fisher folk, of course, for our civil servants and MSMEs, and also our beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer programs of government. So many of our private sector partners are foundations of our big banks and other development partners from the private sector. So let me now move on and focus on our current partnership with the Department of Education. So in 2018, we began an institutionalized partnership. We helped co-develop lesson plans and learning tools that the teachers can use in their classes. We also collaborated on creation of teachers modules. This is one of the key prongs of our partnership. Aside from developing lesson plans and learning tools for learners that the teachers can use in their classrooms, we're also helping the teachers themselves practice personal financial management, prudent personal finance management, because as we all know, we cannot teach what we do not know, and we hope to capacitate our teachers themselves to practice financial literacy and financial capability concepts in their own personal finances. We've also conducted several training of trainers for teachers, that's 2018 and 2019. This year, we are supporting the DepEd in finalizing the financial education integration policy. We understand from our DepEd colleagues that this will serve as guide for all departments that are under the DepEd to integrate financial education lessons in classrooms and in the K-12 curriculum. We've also refined many of our modules for teachers. We've pivoted our trainings to virtual sessions. And moving forward in 2021 onwards, we hope that the integration policy will be implemented. We're going to continue with our training of trainers, and we hope to focus our efforts on monitoring and evaluation. Part of the FinEd integration policy is a provision on monitoring and evaluation, as well as a potential partnership framework wherein we can define together with DepEd the areas where private sector partners can help support the financial education integration in the K-12 curriculum. Now, I don't think I need to preach to the choir. We all know, and studies also already show, that money habits formed early persist to adulthood, and this is why we're focusing on the financial education for the youth. Studies also show that youth has the power to influence their families and their communities. The pandemic has also shown the importance of digital literacy, and we think that the youth can be a moving force to the adoption of digital financial services. As you know, we have a very young population, a tech-savvy population, and we hope that by providing them the financial literacy and financial capability education, they will be able to help shift our consumer behavior towards more digital use of financial services. We are also very confident that the Filipino youth will be productive and will contribute more effectively to economic growth. Our national hero, Jose Rizal, has always said, the youth is the hope of the nation. We stand by that quote from our national hero. And we also stand by the proverb, I think this is an African proverb, that it takes a village to raise a child. So if our audience will have one key takeaway from this presentation, it is really on the value of partnerships. We cannot do this alone. We need each one of us present here, the cooperative sector, the banking sector, the regulators, partners like Aflatoun, who have the heart and the objective to support financial education and financial literacy for the youth. So this proverb is very true, and it's really the battle cry that we should all take on moving forward. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I turn over to Lucky. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle, for the great presentation. It was very clear that from your presentation that financial education is an important pillar for financial inclusion. And it's great to know also from your presentation that NATCCO, Aflatoun, and Department of Education are now in the same boat with Central Bank to work together hand in hand to achieve all Filipinos, children and young people have a good knowledge and behavior on financial education, life skill and financial education. So the third speaker is Dr. Edward Amaguis. He is the chief of Department of Education in Davao del Norte. He is also the chairman of the Tagum Co-op. So it's an important presentation. We want to learn how Tagum Cooperative implement the Aflatoun program. You have 15 minutes, Dr. Edward.
Okay, hello Philippines and hello world. Okay, pleasant afternoon to everyone. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you in this platform. And my courtesy to the CEO of the Aflatoun, we have Mr. Roeland Monasch, then Mr. Balu Iyer, the Regional Director of the ICA, Asia Pacific, and of course to Mr. Lucky, he had been a very active moderator of the Aflatoun program, and to my partners, to our partners in the Philippines, Ms. Lasalette Gumban, the versatile writer of the Aflatoun module, and also one of the very versatile CEOs in the cooperative and the federations, Madam Sylvia Paraguya. And we also have the representative of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Ms. Rochelle, Tomas. And of course, my Tagum Co family, the members of more than 100,000 members of Tagum Cooperative, the management headed by our CEO, Ms. Joris Perez, and our officers headed by our chairperson, Roselena Argent, and to all our youth officers in Tagum Cooperative, especially to Jing Rivera and Ms. Lizelle Umaad, who have been collaborating the crafting of this presentation today. And of course, to my Department of Education family, our Regional Director, Dr. Evelyn Fitalvero, and also our Superintendent, Dr. D. Silva. So this afternoon, I'll be presenting to you, Tagum Cooperative has always been very active in terms of the implementation
Edward,
of the
excuse me, can you please full screen your presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm sorry. I think there's a problem on my.
Okay, it's fine then.
Sorry, I will. Okay, so Tagum Cooperative has always been very active in terms of the implementation of the Aflatoun program. So this has been implemented because of the collaboration of the NATCCO, which is the federation, and also the Aflatoun International. Now we are so very happy that NATCCO were able to bring this Aflatoun program in the cooperative, because through cooperative we can experience the good implementation of the program. It is the Department of Education who has always been our stakeholders in this implementation. Without this Department of Education, so I'm sure we cannot fully implement this Aflatoun program. Now, this is anchored with the DepEd memo, Department of Education Memorandum 228. Now, this program will not be implemented unless we have also our legal basis. So it is this DepEd order number, DepEd memo 228 signed by our undersecretary. Now, how does it started? Now, in September 2011, at first there are only 7 schools, Then there are already 2,511 children who are who have been attracted on this program. Then they already have the savings of 512,699. So this is the first time that the Atagong Cooperative has been implementing this, and we conducted training to our teachers. You know, it's not easy. It's very hard to get the support, no, the support of our teachers, considering that this is a private entity. However, when our teachers and our principals were able to digest and realize that this program is very important, not only for themselves but for our learners. So in that particular data, that it started with 7 schools, and now so there are already 50 partner schools, no, as of October 2020. No, instead of having this more schools to be expanded, but we just limit only to 50 schools, because we also have our responsibility to the schools, no, but especially on the giving of support, no, during the activities conducted by the school. So there are 136,843 enrollees, but they are so very young, so their mind is not so stable that they cannot also sustain the membership of the Aflatoun, because some of them were stopped and some of them were not able to continue their habit of savings. So there are 106,843, and there are already 1,295 teachers who have been involved and who have been given training on this particular program. No, so as you look at that data, so it's very overwhelming, because starting from 7 in 2008, so it becomes 50 schools now, and there are 136 learners. Now, the members, no, the active members as of this time is 29,463. So as I said, that they are still very young, and do not have the liability whether they continue that Athlon program or not. But there are 29,463 who are very active, no? And the total savings that the gathered this time is 27,094,358. Well, anyway, it is not about the savings, no? It's not about the amount of money that we matters here, but what we matter is the habit of savings our children. Now, this amount is the result of the integration of that books, no? Because we have manual, we have books that has been integrated by our teachers to our learners. So this total savings now is the product of that integration, because it was our advocacy that at least our students would have that savings, even a little piece or any amount, no, any amount will do, as long as they can have that savings already in their that's the attitude already of having a savings, even the meager amount that they only have in their pocket. Now we have 14 full-time youth staff, so it is also important to have this staff to be able to cater the savings of our learners. If you're going to compare the earning of this amount, no, on the interest that we earn, so it's very far, because we also give salary to our staff, no. So but we don't mind on the expenses, because what we after her is the advocacy, no, because this is our succession plan in the cooperative, and we are happy to know that these students are already have this habit savings, and the teachers also are very happy, because when they know that the savings of their pupils are already in that amount, so they are so very happy together with our teachers and our parents. Now, so you look at this say data. Now in 2017, no, so from 2016 to 17, so there is a significant increase, no, significantly increases. But in 2018 to 2019, so it downs to 12, it downs, no, so 5% down. In October 2020, so this is now the time of pandemic. I think it is normal. Even other country we also have this trend. But one good thing that I can share with you is our savings, no, the habit still continues. So the habit of our learners in in that savings has not been diminished, but they continuously have that habit, no? They continuously develop that habit, and they have their savings in the youth, in the cooperative. So we are so very happy because our youth also were able to get their target, because our youth Aflatoun coordinator have their target. So I'm very happy to see that, because it was not so decreased. Uh, it's not the decrease is not so big. Then the growth of the members, of course, so it redounds also, no, from 2%. You know, the reason why we control the membership, no, we did not allow, or we did not accept any new members, because we want that those already members to activate. So during that time, when we have that activation, we hired tele officer, no, the one who we call the students, the pupils, to follow up and to visit them. So how are you now? So are you still willing to continue your habit of savings? And we also call the parents. So at least with that intervention, we're able to regain some members who are not so active yet. Then yeah, so as I said, the growth is significantly decreases because of this pandemic. Now, as I said earlier, that the Aflatoun program is the succession plan of the cooperative, no? So there are already 2012 Aflatoun members who are converted to regular members. So this is a very good indication that there are 2012 members who are already socially empowered, and they are already have that integration of the financial literacy during their elementary and secondary days. No, so we are so glad that this 2012, so this will increase, because in the youth laboratory that we have more than I think almost 1,000 of our members who are already 17 and are already 16. So 2 years from now, they are already the regular members of Tagum Cooperative. So they are our good members of Tagum Cooperative already. Now, the reason why our youth were attracted on the different activities, because we have a lot of activities conducted, no? So we were able to develop their talent, no? We also have discover their education and the advocacy of savings. They are going to socialize and join some trainings, and also join, because we have a lot of funds in that in the Aflatoun, no? Gains and awards. If you only focus on the integration of financial literacy in their lesson, I think it will be boring, no? So what we did is we conducted a lot of activities. So that, as I said earlier, that it's more on expenses, but we don't mind the expenses, because our learners, our pupils are very happy joining with the Aflatoun, and that is also our pride in the cooperative to have them, no? And knowing that they are also very happy joining with us in the Aflatoun program. Then we have this youth summer camp. You know, we developed the leadership skills of our Aflatoun members, no? Our youth laboratory, and they are very happy during this activity. And we also have this Aflatoun International Day. So this is the time that we interface and we interact also Aflatoun members from other countries. So we have been doing that, no? So our learner, our pupils are also very happy interacting with Aflatoun members from other countries, like in Malaysia, Indonesia, and also in Netherlands. Okay, so we have also Aflatoun Savers Day, because we want our learners that they have this should be inculcated in their minds. So this Aflatoun Savers Day is a manifestation of their willingness that even a little amount in their pocket, so they can afford to save. Then we also have financial literacy with our teachers and our parents. No, now we always have this continuous education to our parents and to our teachers, because if we will not continue their their education on financial literacy. So this program might die at in its natural death. So we always activate them. So from time to time, every year, we visit the school and conduct this financial literacy with the students, parents, and also our teachers. Then there is also a youth general assembly because, as I said, the youth laboratory in our cooperative youth Aflatoun program is the succession plan of the cooperative. So we also conducted youth assembly, and we also have our participation to the school maintenance week. So we give donations to the schools. So as I said earlier, that the 50 schools, so they also receive goods, from Tagum Cooperative, like paint and any cleaning tools to beautify also the school. So that's the reward of the schools who implemented this Aflatoun program. Then we also have this partners review and reflection meeting. So all our teachers, we have that reflection. So we also have that action planning. So how to sustain the program and what are those activities that they're going to do in order to activate more and in order to develop more students to have this savings and this habit of savings. So we always have this reflection meeting with our teachers. Okay, so we have also our TC Youth Laboratory Officer. So just like the board of directors of the cooperative, we also have our board of directors in our youth laboratory. So these are our youth personnel, handsome and beautiful personnel, have been working so hard. Now, as of this time, we already have more than 100 billion, 127 million pesos savings of the youth, from the Power Teens, Aflatoun, and also the Young Youth Savers Club. So these people are these ladies and gentlemen. So they work so hard to attain that objective. So here's the youth committee. So in the cooperative, we have the board of directors who will be overseeing the program and ensure that this is in place. So I am the chair. What's good that I am the chair of this youth program and our activity was in the Department of Education. It's because I am the chief of the curriculum of one of the divisions here in Region 11 and the island of Mindanao in the Philippines. So I can relate and I can, of course, participate all the activities of the Aflatoun because I am also an advocate of the youth savings. Then we also have our vice chair, Director Rochelle Argent, and our member is Mr. Roeland Dagsama. Okay, so what are our high impacts plans for the youth laboratory? Of course, considering that we do not have face-to-face learning or face-to-face classes now, so we will be having our virtual activities with the students and also the parents. So we will continuously giving them the integration of this manual, financial literacy, so that this will not be taken away from them. It will continue, it will continue and it will really develop already a habit of this. Then we also have the youth mobile application. So now we already have our mobile app and our members can easily inquire they use the mobile app to inquire their balances and their transactions, and also they can have that loan application in their mobile app. So we will also cascade this to our youth members. Then we also have this mobile on the go. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. I hope that I was able to give you some good practices of how Tagum Cooperative has implemented this Aflatoun program in our area. Thank you and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edward. This is a great and excellent presentation on how your cooperative able to implement the Aflatoun program, youth laboratory program. And I have 2 points here. I just quote your presentation, not the amount of saving, but the habit of saving is matter most. I think that's a very important quote from your presentation. And also it's great to know that there are more than 2,000 Aflatoun members converted to regular member with high skill financial literacy. It means that this model works very well for cooperatives. So hopefully our cooperative from different countries or your NATCCO members that's still not able to implement the Aflatoun youth laboratory can follow the model from Tagum, and because it works, right? There are 2,000 Aflatoun members converted into the member. That's very exciting news we have from your presentation. And I believe Balu here also listening on your presentation, and will be our advocate to replicate this model to any different organization, especially Co-op in Asia. We still have 4 minutes. I saw Lasalette raise your hand. Do you want to say something, Lasalette? Oh, okay. So it's fine. So we will play the other 2 videos from Sacred Heart and Lama Coop. In the manual, there are 3 cooperatives as a pilot on how the program running in their co-op. Sacred Heart and Lama Coop, we have the videos. Since we have time, so we will play the video, Sacred Heart and then Lama Coop. So then participant will find out how the cooperative, the 2 other cooperatives implement the program. Diana will play the video for us.
Mother Nature needs us as much as we need her.
Just a second, let me share the next one.
Lamak Multi-Purpose Cooperatives' utmost mission is to strongly respond to the holistic empowerment needs of the vulnerable sector, and that includes the children and youth. LAMAC MPC is committed in empowering this sector to become a positive contributor in nation building through the establishment of the LAMAC MPC Youth Planet Laboratory Cooperative, or commonly known as Coop-Youth Planet. Established last 2004 as a savings program of LAMAC MPC and being recognized as Laboratory Cooperative last August 20, 2013, with 5 core components that serves as the blueprint in giving services to young members. Aflatoun is a flagship program of Coop-Youth Planet in partnership with Aflatoun International, National Confederation of Cooperatives, and Department of Education. It offers accessible and affordable savings program for the youth with 2 types of membership, the school-based and community-based. Started with only 1 partner school, the Pinamungan National High School last 2013. Now, 2020, a total of 25 partner schools with 4 districts and 3 municipalities covered, while in community-based, composed of 42 branch offices of LAMAC Multipurpose Cooperative, Visayas Island.
That was year 2017 that the Aflatoun program was launched in our school. At first, it was very challenging as we really need to convince the students because in this program, we need to gain the trust of our students and at the same time, teach them the sense of responsibility. One of the best practices that I am really proud of sharing is the consistency of follow-ups and encouragements that I give. Another motivation that I did is I will give 100 peso to every student who will be the top saver of each month, and of course, who is also consistent with his or her saving. And in just a matter of few months, I could already observe that the students have already loved the importance of savings. In fact, they need not to be reminded anymore. They already initiate to save. They always ask questions like, Ma'am, savings me? Ma'am, save ko. Or, kung wala na yung klase, ma'am, pwede ba may save? If only every single kid possesses this kind of mindset with a passionate, driven teacher, then we can achieve the sustainable development goals. No poverty, zero hunger.
Travel far, especially going to the mountainous barangay and passing through a difficult roads, I didn't find it so hard after seeing the beautiful faces and smiles of the pupils and teachers as they welcome me to collect their savings. I feel so honored to serve the pupils and helping them secure their future through the Aflatoun program. Also, teachers and parents are motivated to save.
Since I joined Aflatoun program of CYP, aside from I learned how to save money, I also learned that we don't need to be a one-day millionaire type of person. Through the Aflatoun program, I become the DOD chairperson of CYP and opens a lot of doors of opportunities for me like personal growth and skills development trainings and exposure. I am proud to say that I am now an empowered and committed to empower other youth in my community through the co-op movement. Being young is not an excuse to do great things.
Thank you so much, Diana. Yeah, it was a great videos from LAMAC Cooperative and Sacred Heart Cooperative. We are at the end of our launching event. once again, thank you so much for our speaker. Thank you for Roeland Monasch, to Balu, Iyer, Lasalette, Gumban, Sylvia, Paraguya, Rochelle, Tomas, and Dr. Edward Amagois. We learned a lot from your presentation, and thank you so much also for all the participants watching us live through the YouTube. Hopefully, we learn and benefit from all the presentation, and we can continue our service to our beneficiaries, children, and young people. And after this launching event, I will share all the presentation file from speakers and also the videos from the cooperative and the manual. I think that's the most important one. However, for partners in Philippines, the cooperative members of NATCCO, NATCCO will send directly to you the manual. So for non-cooperative members, I will do from here to send it to all your email address that already stored in our system. Once again, thank you so much. Have a nice morning from our Amsterdam College, and have a nice afternoon for all of our partners in Asia. Hopefully to see you again in the Aflatoun live event. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Lucky.
Thank you,
Lucky.
Salette.
Thank you,
Thank
Diana.
you, Sylvia. Thank you, everyone.
Rochelle.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Roland.
Bye,
I'll not
everyone.
open my
Thank you.
video.
Thank you,
You will
Sal.
not see me.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.